shots, high caliber round. If you know what's best, then you better get down. Down. Get down. Down. Better get down. Down. Get down. I wanna see you get to the ground. You're being held up by the UK sound. Firing shots, high caliber round. High caliber round. Then you better get down. High caliber round. Then you better get down. High caliber round. Then you better get down. High caliber round. Firing shots, high caliber round. If you know what's best, then you better get down. Down. Get down. Down. Better get down. Down. Get down. I wanna see you get to the ground. You're being held up by the UK sound. Firing shots, high caliber round. High caliber round. Then you better get down. High caliber round.
Hello, friends, and welcome to the Blue Otter League. This is Week 7 in the Infernal Division, and we're coming at you with a game between Titan Gaming Obsidian and ISU Emerald. We are already deep into the ban phase, and so I will introduce myself as Nyarko, bring in Feedonomics, and have him walk you through this one.
All right, guys. So, like we said, we're sort of expediting the pick and ban phase. So I'm gonna jump into it really quick. ISU G&E Emerald does have the Kindred ban along with Cassiopeia, along with Titan Obsidian, banning out Jinx, Victor, and Trundle. Like the Trundle ban, all three of Titan's bans are really good. Like they're strong champions. I don't want to ever see them on the enemy team doing well. For the side of Emerald, however, it looks like they're going for some targeted bans. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, for sure. Cassiopeia has been picked quite a lot by Color234 there in the mid lane for Titan Gaming Obsidian. And in turn, Kindred is one of the Salt Shakers' favorite champions to play. So I'm happy to see them get knocked out of the drafting phase early, but that does mean a lot of meta champions are left on the table, and there's one being hovered right now with that Zeri.
Yeah, dude. Like I'm really excited about Zeri getting picked. I'm always happy about Zappy Speed Girl getting selected in these games. Still really good. I think that she has received a couple of bans or a couple of nerfs recently. But they really haven't done much to, I guess, falter her pick rate. Still a really heavily contested champion. Speaking of heavily contested champions, also locking in Hecarim for that jungle.
So Hecarim has been nerfed pretty recently on here, Feedonomics. I'm interested to see how the pick is going to play out for Fried Butter 101 this time through. Titan Gaming Obsidian did kind of bait this pick coming out here, given the fact that they themselves were the ones banning away the Trundle. But hopefully Hecarim's Mana Immune build is just simply not as powerful as it was in the past, and therefore he won't be as high priority going forward. That being said, I am certain that either team is still going to be able to do some damage if they grab it.
Hey, look at that. We've got Kane getting selected on the side of Titan Gaming. How do we feel about that? What do your elf eyes tell you about their jungler picking up Kane? You got some games in your crystal ball there. You seen him playing out recently?
Yeah, the Salt Shaker has played Kane in the past a few times. It's definitely one of these comfort picks that we don't see a lot in coordinated play, but it definitely can thrive in the correct environment. And what I really like is that you have a lot of flexibility, given the fact that you could go either blue or red, just in order to kind of orient yourself better within your team composition. Given the fact that we have the Ashe and Veigar already grabbed by TGO, I think that they would probably are going to tend towards a more bruisery or frontline style champion rather than an assassin there. So I imagine the Salt Shaker is probably going to be putting this into Rost form and just trying to tear up some face with it. Overall, I think Titan Gaming Obsidian is coming out pretty well with this first pick phase being completed already. They already
Hmm.
have that Vagar to cage Zeri, and I also really like the response choice of the Ashe. It's a champion that is getting stronger and stronger. LS just tweeted about how much people are sleeping on her, and I think that she's going to do a really good job with the volley and other tools to slow down and cash out Zeri before she's able to go full Pikachu mode and take everyone down.
Yeah, that's completely fair, but I really do like kind of the speed, the need for speed on the side of GE Emerald, right? You have Zeri, Hecarim, Sona, and Zillion right now. Like you basically have Team Zoom on the right hand side of the screen at the moment. Um, we'll have to see who they put in for their top laner. I want to see a Kennen now. I know it won't happen, but I want to see a Kennen.
Yeah, I think that with Genie going this full speed build, I might actually look for something like a NASA support here. Drakus 424, in fact, is going to go Blitzcrank instead. But I actually saw this pick come out in a Masters Plus league yesterday in Aegis, where we actually saw a response pick of the Nasus into this like zoomy, speedy comp. And what happens is that you're just able to wither big players and get them knocked out of fights early. It's something that
Hmm.
LS similarly has also been touting, not to go to church twice in this draft phase,
You
but
went to
I do
church
think it
twice.
is but I do think it is a solid choice here. Solid though as a rock. Ornn also come to the table. Very, very strong pick as it always is. We'll be distributing tons of gold in the late game. Definitely not too torn up about it. I like how resilient and pick oriented some of these champions are for Titan Gaming Obsidian, especially in the second set of picks and bans. I think that you need this durability in order to shore up against ISU Emerald, who are really looking to go for pretty extended team fights here. Sona provides a ton of sustain, and Zeri, even though they're an AD carry, oftentimes goes for that Triforce build, which means that they want to actually skate around the outskirts of fights and get continuous Q damage in over a long period of time. Therefore, having some people that are able to withstand that storm and really isolate that champion before she gets out of hand, I think is really, really valuable. But this is not to say that G&E Emerald don't have some crazy picks coming forward. There's the Fjord to round things out.
Marco, I love this comp. I love this comp on the side of Emerald right now. I'm not gonna lie. Um, Fiora has been the champion that I've been climbing on most recently, so I
Mhm.
doubt that this is because I'm casting the game, but I'm gonna pretend like it is now. Um, and I don't know. Also a really zoomy champ. You know, she gets the speed boost when she hits her vitals. And I feel like, you know, she if she does get pretty lucky against the orange, she has her repose so that she can block the actual brittle auto attack. And can block the charge that comes through for him as well. So does have some really good counterplay right there, and like I just recently mentioned, it just does can do a lot of damage to tanks whenever they're like, oh, I'm gonna build tanky and build health. Fiora's like, but have you heard about the Church of True Damage?
Definitely true. I think it's a really solid response choice here. And Bleed and
Ooh.
Feed has played a few games on this champion, even within the Blue Otter League itself. So they're going to be pretty comfortable with making sure that they get those vitals procced and the damage out. Exciting for sure to watch here. I don't think we're going to be getting much in the way of a lane shuffling. I guess we could technically get a Sona mid Zillion support. There is some
Yeah.
variance right
Yeah.
there, but I don't think that that is something that you're able to do into a Vagar of all champions, especially.
Yeah, no, I like I was saying, I'm excited about this a lot. Didn't even and once again, this is me tunneling on a pick, right? Like, but I never do this when I'm casting with you, do I, Narco? Um, you like Repose can dash through Vigar Cage and can also just like it's really funny when an Ash tries to save the day in Arrow, and then all she ends up doing is stunning her teammate. That's all I've got to say about that. You get very confused like messages and pings in all chat whenever that happens in like in solo queue games. So I like the Fiora pick a lot. Like Bleed and Feed definitely did a really good job on selecting that one. And still kept with the speed motif. So also very happy that they're staying on brand. Looking at both sides though, like obviously I'm gonna say I like the side of G&E Emerald. Do you like Titan Gaming more as far as their comp is concerned?
I really do like Titan Gaming quite a bit. I think that they're relatively evenly matched, and I do love the obvious synergies that ISU Emerald brings forward. But some of these champions, like the Blitzcrank, could just do so much to mess up what G&E Emerald are going for at the end of the day. If you're able to pluck away the Sona or the Zeri early on in a team fight, that is a huge player that will cut against your ability to go for those sustained engages that you really need in order to pop off here. Also, there's a lot of skill expression that needs to come through for the players on ISU Emerald in order for them to really make the most out of these champions. Fiora needs to hit those vitals, needs to be maneuverable, and Zillion needs to ult the right person. I think that's like a constant theme we've been seeing in the Blue Water League whenever this pick comes out. If they're forced to use their chrono shift at the wrong time, or they just simply misclick, it could be a disastrous choice when there's far more influential champions that you could be playing in laning phase, especially.
I do agree with you, but I'll slightly disagree by tunneling back on my favorite pick in this game, Fiora, because because if you get your grand challenge off, right? Like if you get all four vitals off, you have a chance to heal the person that has the Zillion ult on top of them. So like it turns a situation on I don't want to kill this person because the ult is going to wear off into a oh no, we didn't kill them like to get them out of the fight for 2 seconds and now they've healed back to full because four vitals were hit in a team fight. And it doesn't even have to be four. Like that heal is huge.
Yeah, for sure. I think that given Titan Gaming Obsidian's comp, Fiora can really position pretty far forward as well. So they will be very influential with a lot of these plays. I think that you have to be wary about how you use Ash Arrow for this exact reason. And similarly, you really need to make sure that Ornn gets a solid knockup, solid engage, or Blitzcrank gets a hook onto one of these players from G&E Emerald in order to start off fights right. On an even basis where we don't see a pick coming through, I do think that ISU Emerald did win the 5v5, but the question of how they'll position and how they'll be able to interact with the enemy definitely remains to be seen.
Yeah, no, I mean like obviously we'll have to get into the nitty-gritty. We'll have to watch the I would say presumed Titan Gaming invade, right? Like why wouldn't you invade with that comp?
Um, Maybe because it's expected. I think maybe you could like put a lot of pressure on the map just by five pointing and staying out of vision. But I also would 100% be spam pinging for that invade. You know how I am, Feedonomics. I want to see first blood early on in this one, and I want to see TGO get off to a good start, just because I really think that they're going to need the momentum going in their favor early on to make the most out of this Ash pick, especially.
You know, completely understood there. Like I'm not going to disagree with you at all. Definitely have a lot of pick pressure on the side of Titan Gaming. But like I said, we'll have to see what happens. Genie may be able to maneuver around it. Um and I kind of like your comment on the expected invade, like flipping around to not actually invading is the deadliest, right? Um but I don't know, man. Just I gas to the pedal. I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna try and grab that Zillion squishy.
All right, sounds good. We are going to wait out the little bit of the spectator delay that is remaining, everyone. So we're going to throw it to a quick break. Don't go anywhere as we will be into game one very shortly. Hello, friends, and welcome back to the Blue Otter League. We are here in Game 1 between ISU Emerald and Titan Gaming Obsidian, and we got that death ball we were just talking about,
It's
Feedonomics.
happening,
Yeah,
Narco. It's
the invade
happening.
is in fact occurring,
Oh,
and we
but they're
shall
ready
see
for
what
it. Let's
comes
see what
from it.
happens.
All right, Draka's going to walk forward. There's the hook coming through, and
Oh.
already a lot of damage being put down on Assault Shaker, who's going to have to walk back, but First Blood will be picked up by Titan Gaming, and Maximum is also in trouble, forced to flash away. The Ignite taking down, and Fritz is going to be able to grab that one. A lot of Summoner spells expended on both sides, but I will burn everything if it means that you start the game at 2-0.
Yeah, no, I mean that's exactly what they wanted, right? Like they wanted the early advantage and the kills. Oh, but maybe no. I think Volley is just too strong. They're just too slow. The Zoomy comp can't get up to speed.
Yeah, unfortunately, Hecarim isn't
Easy
able
fight.
to do a whole lot level 1 into high Ein Fritz on the Ashe, and Ashe is just going to walk right out of there, but they are delaying the recall, and given the fact that one of the kills went down onto that champion, it does mean that Soprich and Maximum will have a little bit of breathing room, at least early on. That being said, this is going to be a big back for sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And like we were saying earlier, easy first blood. Like was an obvious grab there. Sonic couldn't quite stay alive. But I was really impressed at how fast Hecarim burned. Did not expect him to be the first blood choice.
Yeah, I didn't really expect that either, but that's just kind of the chaos of these early plays. Everyone is squishy to a degree, and given the fact that you already managed to get out a lot of these big summoner spells, like the Ghost from Fried Butter, it's not only just getting the kill into that champion, it's the fact that they are going to lose quite a bit of utility when it comes to ganks or escaping in the early game. So the Salt Shaker probably is going to look to exploit that fact.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, that would be the way to go. We have who ended up getting those kills. Okay, it was the bot lane. The bot lane got both of those kills, which is totally fine. You don't mind that as a Arizona, right?
Yeah, you don't mind that as the squishiest champion in the game and someone who loves to scale up more than anything.
Yeah, no, they're fine. They're fine. This is all going according to plan.
Yeah, Maximum will have to be pretty darn avoidant of getting hooked by Drakus, but honestly, I do think that even with us joking, this is not the worst thing in the world to come through for the side of Titan Gaming Obsidian. If you're a fan of G&E Emerald, there's a lot worse things that can obviously happen on invades like that. And at the end of the day, you're really only emerging with around a 600, 700 gold lead on to the blue side right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, like the gold lead isn't quite the important part though. Like, I I don't know. Was it Blitz that got the first blood or was it Ash?
Yeah, Blitzcrank got the first blood.
Okay. So 400 on the support, maybe not that bad, but you got some trouble in bot lane town. Oh, the flash has to be expended.
Yeah, Soprich having to give away their utility sum here. They are sticking with Cleanse, and that just means that you don't really have anything for the early game to defend against further invades. No heal to speed out of there, no Ignite, nothing of that sort. So Flash has a premium placed onto it in these early levels, and luckily that pressure from the Salt Shaker has meant that Chaim, Fritz, and Drakus are able to force that one out.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like in I mean really disciplined.
All
Oh,
right, Baby Cage coming down here. Zurzal in a little bit of
good
trouble, forced to
job.
flash back towards tower. He's going to stay at around 200 health and will remain pretty happy with that play. They expose where Kane is traveling on the map, and hopefully that'll provide a little bit more information and a little bit more priority over to ISU Emerald, who so far have been heavily pressured in this game.
Yeah, no, the like we talked about Titan having their foot on the gas pedal and they're holding true to it, right? Um, what I
Oh, this
was
is a
gonna
big
say,
approach from Fried Butter.
and they
Yeah,
don't
they
know.
don't. Yeah, I don't have
Oh,
a vision. The hook is going to land, but that's only going to act as the engaged. Fried Burger run forward onto high. I'm Fritz, who's going to get slowed and smacked. Drakus having to go the long way around, will not be there to try to peel away any of these champions from the Ash, and that will be one answered back by ISU Emerald.
that's definitely one way to A, get back into the game if you're the jungler who gave up first blood, and B, have a faster recall if you needed to go back and spend your first skirmish money.
Oh
So
yeah, for
I think
sure.
it's a win-win on both sides.
That is a very positive way of looking at it, Feedonomics. I'm not
Half glass
100% sure.
full. Half glass full, Narco.
That is always a great way to look at it. I don't know if Hi, I'm Fritz would agree, but we are the ones in the caster booth and not them. They are down on the field of war, as it were. And so far, outside of those 3 kills being traded back and forth, this is looking like a standard game of League of Legends to start things out. Topside, for instance, is one that just really has been uneventful. Ragnar is waiting to hit level 6 in order to play a little bit further up into bleed and feed. But the grand challenge is definitely something you always have to watch out for. You can't take too much punishment in this farming phase.
No, absolutely not. Oh, that was pretty good on Ragnar though. Like as long as Ragnar is patient, bleed and feed will most likely be a little too, I don't know, antsy, and want to use that. Oh no, maximum.
Yeah. Interesting attempt at a collapse by the Salt Shaker, but Berzerzal is also transitioning into the area. Kane's going to have to flash away from that one, but it looks like ISU Emerald will not push further, especially as Kohler is wrapping around and coming down. They do have solid priority over this bot side river with the Hextech Drake up, though.
Yeah, I wanted to see if they'd go for it, but it looks like they're backing off for now. Probably the smart play.
Yeah, Bleeding Feed taking a little bit of damage back and forth, but honestly, at this point in the game, I feel that the damage is actually much more pressing on Ragnar than it is on Fiora. Obviously, the Ornn does have kill pressure, and we have seen solo bolos in the Blue Otter League, but at the end of the day, this is basically an offense versus defense lane, and let me tell you, Ornn is not the one that is looking for those kills over and over again.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely not. You want to kill as many people as possible, as quick as possible, on Fiora. But that was an interesting parry there. Accidentally reposed the wrong direction. Wouldn't have hit a vital anyway, so I think it would have been fine for Ragnar. But we'll have to see what happens in that top lane once they finally do get aggressive enough to actually start fighting. An early Bramble Vest on Ragnar, I suppose that it's good, but I don't know if it's the best choice to buy right off the rip. There you go. Yeah, easy repo. Oh, the arrow's out.
Yeah, the arrow is going to be dropped down bot. Maximum is going to be able to walk away from this one relatively unscathed, though, and now Soprich popping ult is the one dealing the damage back onto Titan Gaming Obsidian's bot lane. Drakus is going to go down, and Hi, I'm Fritz is going to have to hightail it out of there. W comes forward to try to slow these champions, and while Soprich is skating, it will not be enough to grab the double-double.
It's a really unlucky grab attempt there. For Drakus. Just flash forward, like the intent was just a little off on the targeting, so got punished pretty hard for that actually. Going for the vital.
For
yes.
Sure.
Sorry, I'm watching the top lane matchup.
God, it's always Silas and Fiora with you. It's so
hey
sad.
Man, look, you have okay. I'm sorry that Talia isn't picked in the Blue Otter League, okay?
I would like to think that I'd be less of a
mean
fanboy,
that you need to shame me.
I'm not shaming you.
You're
just saying it's an interesting quirk of your commentary style.
I can't get better if I'm not watching other people play the champions that I like.
I guess that is true. First Dragon is going to be picked up by ISU Emerald here. They are going to get an early Hextech on their side, which is a really nice one to have as just a solo Drake. And given the fact that they have answered the 2 kills early game back pretty darn well, I think that they may be on track to start stacking these ones relatively quickly here. I guess we shall see, though. Kane trying to answer back across the map with the Salt Shaker, grabbing that Rift Herald, but there comes Fried Butter in. The Rift Herald is only about 1,000. There's the Ornhorn being blown, the knockup coming through, as well as the the ultimate down on a fried butter. Kohler is going to be able to pick that kill up, but Ragnar super low over the wall, not able to get their way back to their comrades, so Bleed and Feed will be able to pick up that kill. Kane gonna have to run away, and Kohler's a bit caught out now. Fiora's running rampant, and looks like Zerzal will be the one picking it up at the end of the day as we see the Shadow walk through the wall in shame. Away from that, it's a 2-for-1 going over to ISU Emerald.
That's what we like to see in the Fiora camps. I'm not gonna lie. Team Fiora all the way. Bleed and Feed, getting the easy kill. Oh, that was really cool interaction, jumping over the wall and firing the slow beam backwards for Zeri.
Yeah, you usually see it the opposite way. You kind of see it in a pseudo gank setup where the slow comes through as Zeri skates towards you menacingly. But it's always nice to use it as a bit of peel as well, especially into a lane where you're playing with a Sona who early on doesn't do a whole lot in order to sustain things up or provide mobility. We do see the E speed up come through, and the Salt Shaker really wants a kill here, but he is getting poked a ton right now. He's just too darn squishy to really go up against Zeri, who is very much snowballing in their own right at 1-0-1 right now. Triforce already completed. Kohler getting some grenades thrown on top of them, and it looks like they're trading pretty darn well with Zerzal at the end of the day. Things may be going slightly in the Zillion's favor. Across the map, things are action-packed, though, as now we move topside. Ragnar going in deep against Bleed and Feed, and look at that true damage come out right there, Feedonomics. That's what you're talking about on that champion. Fiora's definitely scary right now.
Those vitals just aren't polite, man. I'm telling you, like,
they're very rude.
They are very rude, and I mean, Bleed and Feed could look for a kill here. I don't know if I'd go. I would be ballsy enough to go for it. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, they are going to get the wave crashed in, and all they need is
challenge
one
and
solid hit. There's the head.
There it is.
But coming forward, and that's the situation you want to be in. Picked up by the top laner for ISU Emerald yet again. 2-0-1 on this champion. Terrifying to behold as we see the onslaught of shadows come down, but they are going to go under tower. They go unstoppable through the baby cage at first, but at the end of the day, Hecarim is not able to secure a kill.
Yeah, I mean, really, Hecarim's super too low there. I wasn't daydreaming about top lane and that interaction either, Narco, I swear.
It's hurting your game, man. I'm telling you.
I'm sorry. I just enjoy it too much. I saw a tower plating get taken. It was great. It was fantastic.
Across the map, we're getting first items really starting to come in for these champions. That Divine Sunderer so early on Fiora with that gold lead is definitely something to watch out for here, as they will only continue to push their advantage, especially due to the fact that Ornn kind of had to stop off at that Bramble Vest, as you were talking about earlier. They're going to be pretty darn delayed in going for item number 1 on themselves. Kraken Slayer down onto high. I'm Fritz going to match up with that Triforce in the bot lane.
Yeah, but do we have boots completed for Ash? No, I have magical boots, so the speed difference maybe isn't that much. But you do have Swifties completed on the side of G&E Emerald for Spyrich. Soprich, not Spyrich. I'm making up my own names again.
Yeah, it's a good choice, though, I would say, at the end of the day, naming aside. I really think that it just provides a similar kind of role as to why you build Swifties on Jhin. You want to stay on the periphery of fights, use your innate speed boosts and movements in order to reposition well, especially due to the fact that you are otherwise pretty immobile. Well, in the case of Jhin, not really in the case of Zeri, who probably has a little bit too much mobility for an ADC, all things considered.
Oh no, the arrow!
Going down is going to land once again on the person without cleanse. So Sona's going to be pulled forward, and Hi, I'm Fritz will pick up the kill into maximum. And that is all they wrote, at least to start things off in the bottom lane, the top side of the map. Bleed and Feed once again doing a ton of damage, and we see Fried Butter running in onto the mid laner. Kohler trying to do what he can to run back towards tower, but he's got a big angry horsey on top of him the whole way through. He's gonna run under. The W's not going to land for the Veigar, and in turn, it looks like Butter will grab that kill. Now it's a fight continuing in the mid lane. The Salt Shaker somehow barely managing to get back to Tower. Fiora ultimate is procced now on to that Kane. And for the time being, it looks like this is where things will stabilize. A lot of people low on both sides, but at the end of that one, it's just going to be a kill traded for a kill.
Yeah, I really thought that, I don't know. I got worried for Bleed and Feed there after the hook landed, right? Like that felt way too close to tower for me to feel safe anymore. But it does look like this is going to turn into another Dragon Rift Herald trade. Or
Yeah,
well,
and
the first one.
yeah, we did see the attempt at getting the Rift Herald early get interrupted pretty darn well by ISU Emerald. That was one of those 2-for-1 scenarios that we saw play out earlier on in the game. But now that you have a little bit of priority established back by Titan Gaming Obsidian, I think that this is going to be their time to try to get back into this in regards to kills. They are down 2 right now, but they have a lot of dive potential, especially with the Kayn going into blue form here, Shadow Assassin coming out, and he's looking to burst down some of these squishies.
Yeah, and I mean there are plenty of squishies on the side of Emerald to abuse in that circumstance. Let's look at items again, Narco. How are we feeling about them?
How am I feeling about him? I think Prowler's Claw is really nice here. It allows you to remain even more maneuverable, onto some of these champions that will be speed boosted in team fights. So that ability combined with your ultimate should hopefully provide a really sticky engager or at least fighter for the side of Titan Gaming Obsidian. But Everfrost on Zillion, just so darn good. It's a source of self-peel that you really need on that champion because all you have otherwise is that double bomb setup. Ooh, Ragnar taking some
I
rough trades
know.
topside.
That was a really good parry. Oh no.
He's going to go forward where the vitals are procced. Ornhorn being called, but the ram comes too late. And Fiora is going to successfully execute that dive. One more picked up for the side of ISU Emerald. And I think that this Grand Duelist is becoming a little bit too hot to handle. I'll be honest, Feedonomics.
Fiora is longing for a worthy opponent at the moment. I'm not gonna lie. That's what it seems like in the top lane.
Yeah.
Obviously, like we talked about earlier, they already had Divine Sunderer finished. It looks like they're going to be going into to our favorite item in League of Legends currently for top laners, Hullbreaker.
I actually haven't seen a Hull Breaker. I was getting nostalgic after the last few games. I thought maybe the meta shifts in 12.6 were enough to really cap it off, but it looks like we are, in fact, getting it once again as you're pointing it out here, Feedonomics. Right now, though, things are calming down a bit, and it looks like everyone is just posturing. Laning phase is true and well over. Kohler now the one in the bot side of the map up against Zerzal, while the bot lanes have moved mid.
Yeah, it does. It does look like that's the case right now. Have a little swap. It looks like Zerzal's kind of in trouble though. Power
Yeah,
Claw, like you
Everfrost's
were
going to
talking
come out
about.
early, but it's not going to be able to root down onto the Zillion. The Salt Shaker is going to go in. And what a big soda stun to start things off. Maximum popping off with that R, which is just going to allow for the Onslaught of Shadows to come down. Zeri going to go Pikachu as well. And that's a 2-for-0 so far in favor of ISU Emerald.
Yeah, I mean, what happens when you're a pick comp, but you're the ones that get picked?
What happens when the pickers are picked? I'm not sure. You probably just lose, though, right?
Yeah, I would say losing's probably true. Oh no, they're
They're
just
gonna
going
go
in.
They're just running down onto Drakus, but the Hecarim is going low. Resurrector is going to come out, and the Chrono Shift will be standing, but the Ignite and the Knockup will be enough to continue to isolate away the Angry Horsey, and there's Ornhorn to continue this fight. Zerzal's gonna get shut down by Ragnar, who's finally gonna be able to grab a kill in this game, and that is a pretty solid turn to answer back what we just saw from ISU Emerald. Titan Gaming got to be happy about that one. Bleed and Feed, meanwhile, getting baby caged and raged in turn. There's the grand challenge coming out. There's one vital. There's two going down. But I think for the time being, Kohler is just going to disengage and hide under a tower to wait that one out.
Yeah, I think they're both just gonna go back and lick their wounds there. Bleed and Feed, thinking that they were laning against Ragnar there, and then Vigar's like, no, I actually have damage. A little bit more actually. So this is a bit different, and it looks like the safe recall. Fiora, that's not your sword. And then we're going back to the idle moments while we're waiting for objectives to spawn again. Is what it looks like to me.
Yeah, it shouldn't be idle for too long, though. We're only 20 seconds out from the Infernal Drake spawning here, and this is Drakus and Hyam Fritz looking to back, actually. This may be a little bit too late. I like the fact that we just saw Titan Gaming Obsidian get solid priority over the river by taking that Scuttle Crab, but they may be giving it right back over now that Hyam Fritz and Drakus gonna have to kind of book it back over here. And there is the engage starting out here, the Salt Shaker. He's gonna run forward, and there's a cage coming down onto Bleed and Feed once again, and it is just a bit of damage traded, most of it going onto the Blue Cane right there, who has become a squishy himself with that build path. He's going to wrap around the edge within the wall, trying to find an angle onto this dragon. There's the engage. There is Zeri going ultimate once again. Bleeding Feet going to kite around the side and try to get damage where she can down. This is disastrous so far for ISU Emerald with a double kill for the Ash, but Bleeding Feet going to go on a rampage and is now going to turn the tides of the fight right back. Hyam Fritz and Drakus running for the hills. Sopridge going to go on a killing spree and turn and riding over the wall to grab another one. Hyam Fritz going to go down. Zeri gonna get hooked under tower, but it won't be enough.
Oh no!
And all of a sudden, ISU Emerald are back on top, baby.
Yeah, like we were talking about, that definitely was a good Zillion target to hit with the Chrono Shift. Like the great ult right there. Definitely made a big play. Turned a bad 5v5 into a 6v5.
Yeah, for sure. If Bleeding Feet went down early, what I was talking about kind of would come true. We saw Ash get a lot of burst damage out early and get some solid plays onto the board. But at the end of the day, just giving a whole nother health bar over to someone as fed as that Fiora is just something that you cannot contend with right now, especially when you were at the time already down a little bit of gold on the side of Titan Gaming Obsidian. Things are only going to get tougher from here on out.
Yeah, no, definitely don't disagree with that, and I think that you're right on the assessment of Fritz. They definitely were doing a lot of damage in that fight, which is maybe going to be problematic for G&E Emerald here in the future, depending on how another fight goes, or if this comp actually starts landing some picks. And I mean, Bleeding Feet is, oh no, why? You had the chance.
Yeah, we see the dive come through top side of the map. The shutdown goes over to Drakus on the Blitzcrank, which is a little bit unfortunate for sure. I think that you probably wanted the gold either onto Kane or even, honestly, Ornn at this point. I think that he could deal with a little bit more tankiness just to try to stand up against Fried Butter and Bleed and Feed.
No, hear me out. It's the Korean meta. You get the supports fed.
You know, I've often pondered about this, because I do think that there is some value in getting gold onto supports, just because they do so well with so little. You're just accelerating their scaling to where they're actually able to act as a little bit more legitimate of a frontliner. Maybe that might free up Ragnar to split a bit, but at the end of the day, I'm going to go with common wisdom. I am but a silver scrub, so perhaps my insights just fall by the wayside. You know how it is.
I was also, well, yeah, because like I'm in the same boat. But I was also going to say that your Talia support was showing. Right
yeah, that's
there,
also,
so that
just give me the gold. Give me the
I just like to get my items. Like,
yeah.
Narcos says, looking at his little rocks as he throws them.
I'm just a carry, but I don't like to farm. I'm willing to admit it.
Fair enough. Where do we think the action is going to happen next, Narco?
I think it's probably going to happen around Baron, given how strong we've seen the damage output to come through for ISU Emerald. I really think that they're just going to continue to try to force objectives. That being said, Bleed and Feed may be the one actually starting things off here. Salt Shaker is going to get an ult down onto the Fiora, but will be ulted in turn. That being said, it's more of appealing and deterrent ult more than anything else. Bleed and Feed is just gonna have to walk back, but there is that pivot around to the Baron that we're talking about. But that's a huge hook coming down onto the Zillion to start this one off. Onslaught of Shadows, but Fried Butter was getting armor shredded by the Baron. Teleport being dropped by Bleed and Feed, so this fight will be a big one for sure. Maximum gonna kill Kohler to start things off, and there is Super's going unstoppable, and they're tearing apart the team. The double kill coming through for the Zeri, and they want more as Drakus is going to be chased down. Everyone has fallen on Titan Gaming Obsidian, and there is the quadra kill.
Quadra kill. It's a poor man's Penta.
Poor man's Penta. I don't know if that Zeri is poor. That's a lot of gold being funneled right in there. Gotta say, Feedonomics.
I will say the one thing that I really do think that this Fiora does well is take towers. Um,
Amongst killing people and
amongst
drawing
murdering people,
wounds and
right?
getting golden.
I don't know. I enjoy going the Gore Drinker, just because the proc on Gore Drinker's active allows you to proc a vital. Little fun fact.
Ooh.
Yeah, there you go. There's your Fiora fact of the day.
Pure effect of the day. I'm excited for the next time I get one. I would imagine there's actually a lot. The champion seems very, very difficult from the one time I've jammed her in an ARAM.
Yeah, that's why I play them, because they're super hard to play.
I don't know. I
Um,
feel like you do tend towards some pretty skill expressive champions. You also do play that Silas, which I know is not the hardest champ in the world, but it definitely is. It can be a tough one.
ooh, but
Ooh,
it looks like
bleeding
we got
feet.
some action.
Yeah, and look at that speed up. Soprich is a freaking hyperactive hamster running forward and trying to get something down onto the salt shaker before they run through the wall and are
Ooh.
unable to do so. But it looks like everyone is going to reset and try to contest this newly spawning dragon. We got 13 seconds before this infernal one comes out, and this is already 3 set up for ISU Emerald. So if there is a time to fight and die, it is now for Titan Gaming Obsidian. They have lost a lot of ground in the last 10 minutes. So this may be their last stand, as it were. Baron Buff still holding strong, still holding active for ISU Emerald, and we see them hovering around the outskirts of the pit itself. Salt Shaker walking forward, trying to get damage down where he can, but there's so much zoning potential. And Fried Butter's
Oh,
gonna
here
run
it
forward.
comes.
There's a speed boost that they need. They will go ultimate, and in turn, everyone is going to start falling for Titan Gaming Obsidian. The Resurrect is going to be used on Zillion himself, but I don't think it matters much. Bleeding Feet still at full health, Sobridge too, and they're going to start running down Drakus once again. Ragnar trying to come around the far side, but Zerzal is right there to harass, and there is the input that you need from Bleeding Feet to end this game. They're going to dash
Yeah.
around, another quadra kill down for Soprich. They're going crazy. They're knocking down towers left and right, and they're going to walk this wave all the way into the base.
Yeah, nope, that's gonna be a quick GG on the side of G&E and Emerald. I really think that we're gonna see a Zeri ban next game.
I think we're going to see the Zeri ban too. I like the targeting bans that came out of ISU Emerald's side. Titan Gaming, they hit a lot of meta champs, but they didn't hit enough. And in turn, even though they got that second pick, they seized upon the opportunity to grab one of the most OP ADCs in the game, and they are showing for sure why she's getting reworked for a third darn time.
Yeah, I mean, it's that's definitely what happened there. 12-0 though, if you're Soap Rich. Like what, like MVP has to go to them. Um was talking to production and my co-caster during the break. Don't know if you guys know or not, but Bleed and Feed and I are distantly related because our IGNs are so similar, right? Like I'm Feedonomics, they're Bleed and Feed. It's like 3 times removed, like second or fifth cousins. I don't know how it works.
I thought
Um,
you were gonna do some freaking Maury revealed where you're currently casting your like long lost cousin or something.
yeah,
But no,
no, that
it's just a relation by username.
yeah, it's just it's straight relation by username. You know, Feedonomics, Bleed and Feed. They fit together, right? Yeah, definitely. I don't know. It goes without saying that Sobrich is my MVP. I assume that they're your MVP as well.
I think so. I think that they really were just sitting back waiting for their time to shine in the spotlight. And frankly, we just saw ISU Emerald engage upon that exact goal that we brought out during the draft phase Feedonomics. They got those extended trades where Zeri's really able to stack up that damage and stack up that power. And in turn, they just popped off and carried this one home. That being said, I also got to give a shout out to Maximum and Zerzal. They were the backbone by which this whole team functioned. Zerzal getting a great revive on the Fiora in that fight around Dragon earlier on in order to start the snowball for sure. And Maximum with some baller ultimates for sure. I always got to shout out Asona. Love to see her in these games. even though she was up against the Blitzcrank, we saw Maximum really respond and played this one well. They positioned fantastically in laning phase, didn't give over too many kills, and in turn, they really fomented and allowed for Soprych to become the monster we saw.
Yeah, I mean, and I really maximum played great dealing with a lane that had a kill advantage on both laners against them the whole time. Um, but that fried butter gank that came out really early,
Mhm.
whenever the hook was landed, was also I think tantamount to pivoting this game. So good plays all around on the side of G&E Emerald. What do you think we're gonna see, at least change wise, for Titan Gaming to sort of recoup and try and work around their problematic situations this game?
I think they need to draft stronger laners overall. Veigar just didn't get really the time to stack up. And because Zerzal doesn't really need as much farm as some of these other champions to become powerful, I think that what we saw here was Kohler just not really able to get the opportunity to grab gold for themselves. And similarly, top side of the map, it was mostly just Ragnar trying to push back into bleed and feed, but unable to really pressure out and get kills for themselves. So something a bit more confrontational, hopefully, along with the Zeri ban is what I'm calling for. We're going to throw to a quick break. And when we come back, we will be in draft phase for game number 2 between Titan Gaming Obsidian and ISU Emerald.
Don't go anywhere.
Hello, friends, and welcome back to week 7 of the Blue Otter League. We are
Ooh.
here with game number 2 between Titan Gaming Obsidian and ISU Emerald. Big plays coming out of round number 1 that should probably impact what we see coming through in this ban phase so far. Feedonomics, what are we looking at?
Well, we're looking at the same bands on the side of Genie and Emerald, like taking the Cassiopeia and the Kindred away. But I didn't expect Zillion to be the first ban on the side of Titan Gaming. I suppose that that team fight that went really bad for, yeah, no, I don't know. They're leaving Zeri open for the side of Emerald again if they want it. Yep. There it is.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
not really sure. I do like the Zillion ban because it is a champion that can function with a lot of different team compositions. All you need is a few carries, and you are basically cooking with gas here. And I really think that, kind of speaking to that theme I talked about before we went to break, that we want to see Kohler actually go for a more confrontational lane. It's good to knock out some of these champions that are fine sitting back really far. Nico is probably going to go into their hands here, and this is a champion that has solid lockdown, could fight through waves, which is very unique, for a lot of these mid casters, and that should hopefully give them a leg up or at least more of a chance here. Nautilus also going to be the selection for Titan Gaming Obsidian.
I do like the Nautilus selection against Azeri. Just looking at the enemy ADC and being able to go, no, stop moving, is always good. That being said, Lulu, also another catalyst for Zoomies.
That is true.
Zeri
You know
likes
what
zoomies.
you know what I would like to see if we do in fact get ISU Emerald redrafting their old composition basically. I would like to see a Karma mid here.
Okay. Yeah, no, I like it's I can see parallels in between what Zillion was providing and what Karma could provide. You don't have a revive so much, but you do have a lot of shield.
This.
Oh, oh, he's a mind reader. He did
Oh my
it. He
gosh.
did it. Pack it up. Pack it up. We're done here.
We do have
We
Zerzal on 1 or 2 games of Karma throughout the regular season, so it wasn't a completely blind prediction here, I will admit. But I do think that this means that we're going to have to see either Hecarim Steal or Hecarim Ban for TGO in this last selection or in this next set of 2 removals. That will be the Anivia, in
is
fact.
that an Anivia? Like, where's Nico going then? Is that a
Ooh,
Nico bot lane?
this could be Nico Bot. Hmm. That is interesting for sure. Nautilus Jungle and Nivea support, maybe?
I mean, okay, yeah, that's fine. I'm
Yeah,
for that.
that
Why
is not
not,
fine. What are you
Narco?
talking about, man?
Narco, that's great. That's almost as fun as supporting with Talia. Zing,
I see how it
zing.
is. I
There you
see
go.
how it
There's the
is.
Fiora man. I
Yeah.
mean, like our production did let us know before we threw more catnip at them. The Fiora was the champion that did the most damage last game. So that ban was expected. Though right now, looking at what junglers are going to get selected, do you expect to see a Trundle or a Hecarim? Neither are banned out yet.
I think that you can either go for the Trundle or Hecarim in the ban phase, or they are must picks here. We will see the Hecarim, in fact, banned out. So G&E Emerald get a little bit more freedom with what they want to do with this last selection. I'm actually kind of surprised that they decided to knock Kane out of the running for TGO. I don't think that the Salt Shaker really did a whole lot last game on that champion. But I guess that at the end of the day, if you're kind of sitting back pretty happy with the composition you've so far picked up, it's all right to just go for some of these more targeted ones. The set
Yeah.
also going to get knocked out here at the end of the day. But this does leave G&E Emerald in a little bit of an awkward spot because you no longer have that speedster in the jungle. You could perhaps go for something like the Udyr. That would be my pickup into that role. And in turn, it'll be a question of whether or not Titan Gaming Obsidian are going to try to preemptively grab the jungle in this pick, and it
There
looks
it
like they
is.
will with the Graves, in fact. Yeah, this is an Udyr game for sure, at least in my eyes.
I mean, the only issue with Udyr is if you never get a chance to get any sort of foothold on the game, you just kind of are just a stun bot. Like you never get a chance to stat block to actually body the enemy, right? And Graves is maybe not the most mobile for a jungler, but it's mobile enough. Volibear I kind of like a little bit more. It's
Yeah,
just
Volibear is definitely
Udyr that
viable here
can't
too.
turn into a turtle or a tiger.
I guess that is true. They are perma bear, as it were. And so now we only have the top laners left to pick up here. I think that given the Volibear, you do have a little bit of takiness, but I wouldn't be too down on an Ornn selection actually for G&E Emerald this time around. Obviously, Bleed and Feed has shown their prowess on some of these more fight-oriented picks.
I like
And
Kled.
there is the Kled, which I guess goes along with that theme. But what I was going to say is that it's always nice to put on a little bit more of a brick wall, especially when you have both Karma and Lulu waiting in the wings.
Well, look, so you have a front line in Genie Emerald with Volibear, but you also have a dinosaur that's in front of the front line when you're playing Kled.
Yeah. And that charge will speed people up once again. You know, it is a classic.
They're all about the Zoomy comp right now. I'm impressed that it's not Zeri Yumi, so that we could see the Super Zoomy. Malphite getting picked up for the side of Titan Gaming. I do like that pick into the comp of Genie Emerald. There are quite a few champions that would not have any fun if they found themselves underneath of an unstoppable force.
Yeah, an Unstoppable Force combos really well with a lot of the damage output in CC that Time Gaming Obsidian have in these other lanes as well. Graves will just be able to drop down an ultimate of their own in order to go right into that like big wad of people that Malphite kind of creates. And same thing for Anivia, dropping a Blizzard right where Malphite just got a huge
Mhm.
knockup. That is just a scary, scary thing to behold for sure.
And then they're all knocked up by a depth charge, and Nico is, pretending to be someone else, and then ults on top of that circle as well. So if G&E Emerald stays grouped, they're toast. And it did actually seem like they were pretty clumped together in a bunch of those team fights that we saw earlier in the previous match.
Sure, for sure. I think that they may, just due to the fact that they have the Lulu Karma this time around, play a bit more front to back. I think that with Kled as well, you ultimately will spread the team out a little bit when you go into Ultimate. And that should hopefully prevent the brunt of the damage output that we see Titan Gaming Obsidian able to bring to the table if the chain CC isn't in fact able to land due to just better positioning. But overall, this is definitely a little bit more favorable for Titan Gaming Obsidian than the last game was. I know I said I was pretty up on their draft as well, but unfortunately, the Kane just wasn't really able to execute across the map and get the pressure down. And similarly, I think that Draka started to struggle to make the crucial picks that they needed to really orient team fights back into their favor.
Yeah, that I don't disagree with. For everyone that was confused on what was going on there, I had to plug my mouse in. So I apologize for looking confused as I was staring at picks and bans.
I always look confused with any pick or ban, and I still am a little bit confused about who the bot lane is going to be for Titan Gaming Obsidian. If I were a betting person, which I probably am, maybe have a bit of a problem, I think that it's probably going to be Anivia Nautilus. I think that there's some decent synergy between these two champions. You have the ability to engage and keep people locked down with Anivia Wall, plus the utilization of Dredge Line. And I think that overall, Anivia is a champion that isn't as avoidant or isn't able to hold the lane as well as Nico is solo. So that's probably what Kohler is going to be grabbing.
I think that Nico's gonna be well, man. I I think uh, Anivia has a really long auto attack range.
Anivia does have a really long auto attack range. And I actually, now looking back at this comps that we've been seeing coming through actually for ISU, it is in fact a lot more Nico bot than it is a Nivea bot. So it probably will in fact go the opposite of what I just predicted.
Well, but that's Titan Gaming that has the Nico, right? Am I crazy?
What you mean, fam?
I thought you were saying Nico, but you said G&E Emerald. I'm
Oh,
just making.
sorry. Yeah, my apologies. I do mean Titan Gaming is
Okay,
the ones
cool,
that
cool, cool,
like
cool, cool, cool.
oftentimes fields Anivia and Nico, which aren't the most common champions. So my
Mhm.
apologies. I think I still had my spreadsheets aligned for the game that we saw first time around. We do have a side swap in round number 2 here.
Yeah, no, cool, 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 cool. Just keeping you honest, Narco, like I always do.
Brutal,
That,
man.
that's the plan. Though now I kind of want to either get the meme format for a meme that I saw the other day, where it's like somebody is typing in "I have a gambling problem" in the Google search bar, and then it pans back over to them clicking on the "I'm feeling lucky" link.
Oh, brother. And we do get the confirmation that it will be Anivia going into the hands of Kohler there in the mid
Yeah,
lane.
I mean, I could still I could still slightly see it Nivea working bot lane against Azeri.
Yeah, I do too. I really think it might be better here, but obviously Hayam Fritz needs to play what they're comfortable with, and
Mhm.
he clearly has a lot more time onto this Nico than on the Anivia. And so while I do think that the swap is possible, sometimes it is just the case that the matchup gets outweighed.
Well, yeah, no. I'm not arguing that, but I'm just saying Nico go mid against Karma, and then Anivia go bot with Drakus. Kohler
Yeah.
goes bottom with Drakus. Like I
Well,
could I could
you
see
you
that
think that
happening.
you think they would actually roll swap here?
I I mean, is it really a roll? I guess it's technically a roll swap, but is it?
I think that mid and ADC are rather removed from each other. Obviously, we do see a lot of people that like queue mid top or top mid, but there's a lot fewer people that I think main a solo lane but are comfortable playing in a duo lane. You know?
I mean, I suppose that logic is fair, but I will throw a counter out that Karma is also played in the bot lane a lot. So if you were going to lane against a mid laner, Karma would not be a bad one to do it against because you should have plenty of experience laning against them.
While that is true, it's usually in the support role, and I think Karma obviously is playing a little bit different when you are in that selection. You don't have to farm, so you just kind of go for bush control a lot on this champ.
Mhm.
You want to walk up for mantra Qs and not a whole lot else. Well, I think that you, in the case of Karma mid, are oftentimes using your Q to clear waves alongside putting out harass. So it's definitely a different balancing act. But I get what you were saying there. That being said, I don't think we're going to get too much goofiness. I think Kohler's probably just going to be sticking to their guns and going on mid to face off against Zerzal. But at the same time, I am always a glutton for wackiness. And if we do, in fact, get a crazy wall swap, roll, or lane swap, I am right here to watch it. We're going to wait out the spectator delay. And when we come back, we will be deep into game two between these two teams. Don't go anywhere. It has been a banger so far.
Ah.
Welcome back, friends, to the Blue Otter League, where we are in game number 2 between G&E Emerald and Titan Gaming Obsidian. We got some pings coming down. Titan Gaming gonna walk through the bot side of the map, and it looks like they're gonna try to grab a kill for themselves in game number 2. This is the second time they've tried this. Worked out number 1. Question is, can they get the double?
Oh no! So rich.
Look! Oh, Drakus, no! And
Ugh.
as one, we see them peel back out of that chaos bot side of the map. Zeri is going to get away. No summoners burned or anything of the like. That's an unfortunate start to this one.
I mean, it's still a landed hook, right? It hit a wall,
yeah.
so we're good. It's on a shorter cooldown.
Yeah, it's a mobility hook, you know?
Yeah, I was trying to get closer. You're right. All right. Looks like standard jungler starts. Both
Yeah,
starting with their bot lane.
definitely. Yeah, and that invade came so fast and furious that we really don't see much of a contestation for vision topside of the map. Bleed and Feed just going to be happy to roam around that tri-bush area, make sure that Ragnar has to kind of take the long way back towards the wave. And we are seeing, once again, a pretty standard double bot start for these players. Fried Butter and the Salt Shaker, both going to try to jockey for position relatively early on, I would imagine. Graves has a solid matchup into Volibear at the end of the day, and things are starting off wild. Drak is going to hit the hook this time around. There is no wall to stop the Nautilus from going in. Soper's taking a nice chunk of damage, but things are getting traded back pretty darn well in turn.
Yeah, but that's definitely something that Soprich has got to keep an eye out for now. That was a really well thrown Tangle Barb by Fritz there, and a good combo up by Drakus.
Yeah, Ragnar taking quite a bit of damage, did not hit their level 2 spike yet, so that means that they're just going to take all the abuse from the Kled as we see more action bot side of the map. Hi, I'm Fritz, already going to get exhausted, and exhaust back in turn onto Soprich. Oh, and they are going to flash right out of the way of Nautilus and the Tangle Barbs, and that means that first blood will go over to the Zeri. This game is starting off well, once again for ISU Emerald.
Yeah, and like you were saying a minute ago, like really good flash there on the side of Soprich to avoid the Tangle Barbs. And secure the kill and finish off the first blood. Speaking of mid fights.
Yeah, that was a solid engage and trade by Zerzal, making sure that Anivia didn't have stun up before they went in with the W. In that case, the wall just becomes a lot less effective. Kohler still gets it dropped down and is able to isolate out the Karma, but all they have left are auto attacks with which to respond to this route.
Now that's not fair. They threw one, like, unempowered E.
One unempowered E, the joy, the beauty of it. Speaking of the power of Anivia and the fight mid, we had a bit of a confrontation right there over the Scuttle Crab, and Kohler is going to rotate up, but the Salt Shaker ultimately is forced to flash away and will not be able to grab it topside of the map. Ragnar, though, getting a solid engage and somehow getting a level back up onto Kled, who's desperately trying to get a remount here, shooting the shotgun a little bit, but the Malphite is just going to drop a Q in turn and continue to try to get priority over this one.
Yeah, the corrupting potion is such a good item. I hate it. just let it be known.
Yeah, and Kled's in a little bit of trouble. He isn't able to get the remount. Salt Shaker going to come into the area as well. And right now, all of a sudden, Ragnar has full control over the lane and wave. It's just really difficult to walk up when you have such great point-and-click slows and damage coming through for this champion. Oh, Bleeding Feed going to, in fact, walk up, though. There's a flash expended. Salt Shaker going to drop that W and grab the kill, though. It is 1-1, and a solid answer back after that drama we saw topside.
Yeah, I don't know. If I was, like, Bleeding Feed right there, probably should have just tried to get aggressive, as opposed to trying to flash away, right? Like, remounting was, I think, the only way they survived that.
Yeah, for sure. And using that flash, too, is really kind of disastrous for the lane. They're going to have to teleport here early. And Malphite's not a champion that really wants to get ahead or doesn't need to get ahead. So the fact that they will have the luxury of this extra golden priority is something to watch out for, as any roams on the champion can be disastrous. Speaking of disastrous, Kohler in quite a bit of trouble here. He's going to get a lot of damage traded back with the help of the tower down onto Zerzal, but there is the mantra Q in order to get the bird into egg farm. There's the W as well, but I think it is only going to be the passive loss for the Icebird mid.
Yeah, and I don't. Zerzal doesn't have their flash right now. Playing that close to the turret could definitely spell a disaster. In the next couple of pushes here, but let's see what happens. It looks like mid we are going to get a little bit more action.
Yeah, Salt Shaker going to
this is
come around the
free.
backside, and there is the shields coming down for the Karma, and I think the dive is just going to continue here. That's a lot of turret shots going down onto the Anivia, and Fried Butter's rotation means that this great play suddenly turns disastrous for Titan Gaming. Obsidian, Zerzal on but 100 health, going to continue to walk forward to help Fried Butter push this lane in for them. And so far, this has been a dramatic set of turns this game. Bleed and Feed once again back off of Skarl. Gonna have to look for the remount. And this is Anivia returning to the area using teleport to try to stabilize that mid wave.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, just not enough mana yet on.
Soprit's gonna ride over the wall, and Fried Butter is right there to get the stun down onto Drakas. We get the dredge line away, and they will be able to make it back under tower with just a sliver of health left. The map presence right now coming through for G&E Emerald shows why they grabbed game one so convincingly.
Yeah, that was a really good tangle barbs on the side of Titan Gaming, however, to keep Drakus alive. But we'll have to see what happens as this continues. I'm not. Oh, another one lands.
Yeah, those roots are pretty big because it leads into
Oh.
those exact kinds of plays where you get the chain CC going down, and Hyam Fritz is going to be able to get wood before falling to maximum in turn. Draka's pretty darn low, kind of wiping some sweat off their brow that ultimately ended up as a favorable 1-for-1 for Titan Gaming. It is always really solid when it is the support picking up the kill into your ADC.
Oh.
Unstoppable force topside, though, and they're looking like it's going to be Kled getting knocked off of Skarl once more. But Ragnar low, too low, in fact, and it is those tower shots that are going to be able to stabilize this for Bleed and Feed. Still not back on to their lizard bird thing, but it doesn't matter. They're at least going to be able to receive this whole chunk of damage under tower. Wow, a lot of shotguns. There's the remount. There's the charge coming through. He's not going to be landing anywhere near to the Salt Shaker, but he will get a lot of pressure back. There's the teleport from Malphite, but it's not going to be fast enough. That's the confidence you're talking about, Feedonomics. Getting that remount could do so much for that lane.
Oh yeah, I mean it's a lot of temporary health. Like Skarl is a friend, except for when he isn't. I think is the best way to look at it.
Yeah, and Skarl doesn't really have a whole lot of bravery here, and Kled doesn't have a whole lot of health, but given the fact that the Salt Shaker has been sent packing back towards Fountain, you got a solid chunk of time in which to continue to grab farm. Obviously, Ragnar is doing quite a bit, but they are going to fall off as they will be going tank, at least in terms of damage output. They don't fall off as a champion, but I think you get what I mean at the end of the day.
Yeah, but I don't think that building damage would be the right route to go either, because you are going to have two really big frontliners on the side of G&E Emerald with Volibear and with Skarl. Not so much with Kled, but Skarl.
Yeah, that's for sure. And as we see this itemization begin to build out, it looks like it's going to be relatively standard across the board, except for the fact that we are getting an AD Nico, everybody.
Yep, I mean, once an AD player, always an AD player, I guess. Have a little Teemo flashed at the enemy jungle attempt there. Oh, that was a really good jump over the wall, though.
Yeah, the depth charge basically being negated right there. Soprich just able to get to safety before any more harm can come afoul of that Zeri. And so that means an ultimate is wasted bot side of the map. We already have Hextech Drake going over first time through for ISU Emerald. and we are about 3.5 minutes before the next one. Right now, I think all eyes are going to be on top side of the map. That is Rift Herald up, and that is honestly Ragnar getting pretty darn big on the Malphite early on into this game, which might mean that while you're oftentimes going to be giving priority in the vast majority of coordinated play, here you actually have the ability, I think, to contest this objective a bit more. You have Unstoppable Force up, and you have the Salt Shaker rotating into the area. That being said, Bleed and Feed with a big crash of minions onto the enemy tower. He's grabbing a lot of plates for himself, and this is, in fact, Fried Butter starting up Shelly.
Yeah, we'll see what happens here. I assume that Salt Shaker is just gonna push up to attack Bleed and Feed here in a moment. They are pushed up pretty far, but will it be soon enough?
Yeah, a lot of questions to be answered
Oh,
for
we
sure.
have-
A little bit of the sandwich coming through as Kohler is going to move out of that mid lane to see what is going on in that river. But at the end of the day, with Karma returning, they can't stay for too long, and this just will be the eye secured for Fried Butter. Oh, there's the dredge line coming
yeah,
through
had to waste it.
the ultimate from Nico, but Soprich is able to kite on the outskirts of it, and now turning the fight back around. Drak is forced to flash away. Meanwhile, top side of the map, the charge has come through. Salt Shaker going to return to try to help Ragnar, and they're fighting in between the towers now. This is a rough situation for ISU Emerald, but they got the help, they got the confidence to run forward. Bleed and Feed is gonna dive the Graves Under tower and get the kill while in mini form.
I mean, that was a lot of Skarl. I just feel like Skarl's the MVP up here.
Yeah, this charge is going to be rough. Ragnar may be a bit too
Oh,
far
no.
forward, and there's the Flash Smite coming down, and now the Malphite is in a lot of trouble. I don't know why you would hover that far up, especially given the fact that that tower was a goner. No way about it.
I don't know. And you give the second charge. The second charge is definitely going to go off, right? Maybe not. Maybe not.
Yeah, Graves is going to return to the area. They will have Smite up, so I think that the Salt Shaker, he's just going to knock that one down before you get more pressure down onto the inner turret. But that being said, look at this tower bot side as well. It really looks like ISU Emerald are just going to try to go up as much gold as humanly possible by taking these plates. It's only 12 minutes into the game.
Yeah, it's 12 minutes into the game, and you
Oh
have
my gosh, the Mantra Q from Zerzal doing so much damage. Salt Shaker going to have to walk off of Raptors here in order to prevent the bird from dying. Karma's going to get the W down, and there's a really solid route. And for some reason, Zerzal has the confidence to continue to walk forward, and it's working out. Fried Butter's in the area. Sound the horn, the bully is here, and things are looking all up for the blue team.
Yeah, this is not really the position you want to be in if you're Titan Gaming.
No, not at all. You have already gone down one game, and it is looking like a clean 2-0 is on the horizon unless they're able to pull off anything drastic. But given the fact that you once again have a huge priority over this dragon, I think ISU Emerald are just kind of walking away with this one.
Yeah, and here you go. Oh, okay. The rope missed.
Yeah, the bear trap on a rope or whatever that ability is called. Unfortunately, he's not
You're
going to
right.
grab down on to the lizard girl, but it does not matter. This is another neutral objective grabbed over for G&E. And my question to you, Feednomics, is how do we see Titan Gaming Obsidian come back into this?
You've got to look.
Like, this is a 6K gold lead, man.
This is going to have to be the old CLGEU turtle with Anivia on Froggen for 45 minutes.
Wave clear, wave clear,
wave clear. Because that's the only way that I can see this happening. I don't know, like maybe get picks, but it doesn't look like they're the ones getting the picks.
Yeah, for sure. In fact, it looks like Drakus is getting picked right here. That dredge line is not going to hit the tower, so he will go down again. The Nautilus is no more, and now the remainder of Titan Gaming Obsidian have to play so safe. The damage output is crazy. One misstep, and all of a sudden, the Zarya is melting your health bar. The Volibear is diving you, and things are just falling apart right now.
Oh, yeah, that's actually, ooh, good flash.
Yeah, solid flash, forcing out not only that, but also Lulu ultimate could be a big way in to help de-push that fairly heavily contested mid lane for the time being. But all the while, Bleed and Feed is doing a work top side of the map. He's pushing so deep in, and really for the time being, nobody's really able to rotate up to stop him. Kohler is getting constantly harassed. Drakus is only now back up, and I don't think that the Salt Shaker is able to do enough, even with the combined might of him and the Malphite, to push back against all of this pressure across the map for the blue side.
Yeah, like we were saying earlier, this is not good for the camp of Titan Gaming right now. Bleed and Feed just is getting closer and closer. I'm pretty sure that's going to be a Gore Drinker, right? Like, that's not going to be a Stride Breaker.
I would imagine that is going to be your drinker as well. Already has the Hull Breaker built too, so we are at no want for that item in these games here. Bleed and Feed really, really liking to continue to pick that up. We already have Turbo Chem Tank constructed on Fried Butter as well, so that's going to be a great sense of a front line. And with the Leandries coming out on Zerzal's Karma, things are really all beginning to shape up for some big death marches and big pushes for
Oh,
the blue
but if
squad.
you're soap rich, you should watch
Yeah,
out.
this is a little bit of a nice
That's-
collapse, though, as we do see the dredge line finally land. Soprich is going to fall to High I'm Fritz, who went for Bork first item. Seems to be working out, gotta say.
Yeah, I mean, like, just not the best in positioning land for soap rich there. Oh, the
And
dredge
speaking of
line.
positioning land, there is the dredge line into the depth charge, and the Salt Shaker is going to be able to kill Maximum. They thought they could hide with their shields, but
Butter,
no
leave.
longer. And Fried Butter is going to get sandwiched like crazy, forcing the ult out of the Volibear. All the while, bot side of the map, this is Bleed and Feed on a solid split push, but all of a sudden, Gold has flowed back over to Titan Gaming Obsidian. You need more plays like that to equalize this game, but there is a silver lining to it all.
Yeah, I mean, you get a couple of more engages like that, you're looking real pretty. The issue is getting a couple of more engages like that.
Yeah.
I would think that if I was on the side of Emerald now, I would be playing a little bit safer.
Just a little bit safer. You really need to save your resources in order to kind of push through these last few neutral objectives that are standing here. I like the fact that with everyone kind of on a fresh set of tires, as it were, coming out of that fight, they're able to rotate really quickly over and grab Rift Herald, and they will all be up in relatively good spots regarding their gold in order to push for Soul Point here in about a minute.
Yeah. I just don't know. Like I'm just trying. I'm sitting there trying to think of what Titan would have to do to climb back into this, and I suppose they do have objectives, bounties up right now, right? Like, so maybe if you cash in on a couple of these bounties, you're looking a little prettier.
That's definitely true. I think that you just need to pretty passively let go of this Drake. Just turtle up, as you're saying, wave clear some of these big pushes that come through. Maybe catch out Bleed and Feed on another split, and then from there try to leverage that into at least some glances at the Baron. Because otherwise you're just going to kind of get walked all over. That being said, I guess that they want to actually start the fight up right here in the river against ISU Emerald, who are desperate to grab their third dragon in just 16 seconds.
No.
But there's the engage, there's the knockup coming forward, and there is Come On and Slam. Welcome to the jam. Fried Butter going to go on a killing spree. Nia split the fight in turn. Nivea going to fall as well, and Soprich is going to be able to pick that one up before riding over the wall, dropping the hurt down onto Drakus. There is the knockup from depth charge, but it's not going to be enough. I'm Fritz running for the hills, and it's the double kill. Soprich popping off yet again. The ace is here, and I think that this may be the last nail in the coffin for Titan Gaming Obsidian.
It's well, that's not Soul Point, at least, right? I would definitely say that was the casket being lowered if that was confirming the Dragon's Soul. But
You gotta nail the coffin up before you put the casket in the grave, as it were.
Yeah, but it's technically what if you nail it on shoddily, right? Like,
I don't think these are solid nails. These are good, strong screws being driven deep into the mahogany that is the coffin of Titan Gaming Obsidian. That gold lead at 19 minutes, it's just too much to really come back from, especially given the fact you don't have a whole lot of scaling on the team. I mean, AD Nico just doesn't really have the ratios necessary to pop off here.
Are you saying AD Nico is getting ratioed right now?
A little bit. Take the L, take the ratio, take the no maidens.
Because I don't know, man. You definitely always gotta try, right? Like I'm a big proprietor of you gotta attempt, but I don't know about attempting in that last dragon skirmish.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. You definitely have to attempt in situations like this, and throws happen all the time, but you
Yeah,
can't
we
do
play
it,
in Silver
especially
Solo
into
queue a
a
lot.
yeah, especially into a relatively inconsequential dragon. Sure, it sucks being put on a timer. It sucks that you'll have to win the next 3 dragon fights to not give over soul. But at the end of the day, you just aren't in a position to go for the 5v5 against a team as darn fed as ISU Emerald are right now. And
Especially.
unfortunately, with all that gold given over and now almost going to crest the 10k gold mark, this means that
Oh
you're
no.
giving so much priority over stuff like Baron that it's going to be really difficult to fight back against. Bleeding Feed, though, getting 2v1 bot side of the map. Ragnar walking forward and Kohler getting quite a bit of damage with these blizzards, but there is the charge
Ooh,
coming
that was
through.
good.
It will be answered in turn by the unstoppable force, but Kohler is going to fall. Bleeding Feed will not be denied, and while Skarl is gone, he is able to get some shotgun blasts off. He's looking for the double before he
Oh
falls.
my
Gets
god.
Scream out too. This is disastrous, as Baron is also going to go over to ISU
Oh my
Emerald.
goodness. Oh.
The teleport as well. Zerzal wants this one to high on Fritz. They're not able to do anything. There's the Ignite. There's the Leandry's Bird. And there is the Root. Zerzal is going to pick up the kill against the Nico as Bleed and Feed is going to wave goodbye to the rest of their team. They're going to walk right into the base and start smacking away at the inhibitor. Zerzal's back here now in order to catch back up. Say hello once again to the Kled. They will knock down Inhib for walking away. Ultimate used by the Salt Shaker, but it doesn't matter. Somehow Karma and Kled able to stay alive as the rest of the team sieges mid.
Oh, that was Narco. That's a very big Kled and Skarl.
It sure is. Yeah, this is a rough one for sure for Titan Gaming Obsidian. They just didn't get the lead that they needed early on for some of these picks to work out. I really would have loved to see the lane swap come through, but given the cards that they are dealt and the way that they are playing this one out, it's just going to be incredibly difficult. It's all in the hands of ISU Emerald and their ability to either keep the game alive or throw that will decide this one.
Yeah, it's just I'm hitting tab here, right? And I'm just looking at the lines. And I just don't see a good one for the side of Titan Gaming. You're down 13 kills 22 minutes into the game. It's a 12k gold lead. You're about to have your mid tower broken to the inhibitor. Because, like, who's going to stop you?
Yeah, the onslaught is really beginning to roll through. It is a 4 in the base currently with Lulu shoring things up right behind here. This is the final push in. This is where Titan Gaming Obsidian need to make their stand. They need to fight this one out. This is the 5v5 they're looking for. They only have these Nexus turrets left in order to act as a line of defense. And right now, I guess it looks like, in fact, ISU Emerald are going to try to find picks before they want to rotate back in order for the war to really come into fruition. It is 30 seconds before the drag comes out, and Soprich is going to make a quick and daring escape right there alongside Zerzal.
Yeah, it looks like that's just what they're waiting for. They're just gonna let Kled push. They're gonna secure this last dragon that Titan Gaming is going to fight for, and probably just subsequently die. That teleport is up.
We do love a good comeback story, though. That being said, it's not going to come this time around. Zerzal going on a killing spree, and Nivea to fall soon after. They don't need that last dragon. They're just going to walk this one all the way into the base. That is already an inhibitor in shambles. Ragnar not able to engage with unstoppable force anymore. They just want to get back to their fountain, but Soprich will deny even that luxury. They're going to go on a killing spree here right at the very end of the game. Drak is going to hide, trying to find a way back into this one as High on Fritz comes up, but watch in horror as the last two Nexus turrets fall, and the Nexus will follow shortly after. It's going to get melted down. The GGWPs are coming out in chat. There is the execute against Soprich and the end of the game in favor of ISU Emerald.
Who's your MVP?
Who, my MVP? I gotta give it to Soprich once again. We saw
Really?
them play. Yeah, I think we saw them play bot side really, really well. They were just able to equalize, normalize everything, and they came through with some solid kills for sure. Bleeding Feet did a lot, don't get me wrong. They were pressured pretty hard early on and managed to leverage that into a huge comeback and a lot of kills on the map. But at the end of the day, I think that he was more of a like add-on. He was more of a win more than anything in this game. It was the core of the 4 players operating away from the top laner that I think made it so ISU Emerald had a clear path to victory.
I have to give this game
I mean,
see, it's really weird.
I'm not gonna argue with you if you do give it to Bleeding Feet, who was fantastic. Don't get me wrong, but I do love seeing the rest of the team churning in and burning as one, as it were.
I'm looking at the production slides, right, of the previous game's damage, or I mean this game's damage, and this time it definitely was Soprich that put out the most damage, but I can't not look at that fight, right? That
Hmm.
the 3v1 where, well, I guess it was technically a 3v2 if you want to count Scarl, where one Yordle and their mount enters and then no one basically leaves except for the Yordle and their mount. Just it was the just the razor thin margin of like dying or not dying, right? So I took it away from Bleeding Feed the first game when they had the most damage, and I gave it to Soapridge because of the 2 quadras. But this time I'm gonna have to flip it around. Soapridge, you played a fantastic game, but MVP is gonna have to go over to Scarl. Scarl's the MVP.
Scarl specifically.
Yeah, Scarl
Everyone played a
specifically.
fantastic game on the side of ISU Emerald, though. That's honestly the name of the game here. We saw some solid pushes back, but just no real ground being made by Titan Gaming Obsidian in any of these lanes. Ragnar really played out the Malphite matchup into Kled pretty well early on, but that only translated over into an 0-5 record at the end of the day. And meanwhile, the Salt Shaker, a bit more active on the map this time, had some more successful ganks, but only 2 kills came out of that. At the end, it just didn't really matter, unfortunately. Applause for Titan Gaming Obsidian. They brought their best to the table, but this time around, it just wasn't enough, unfortunately. GG's to everyone, and shout outs to ISU Emerald for really strutting their stuff here.
Yeah, no, definitely a really, really strong performance from them. Next week we start wild cards, right?
Who I believe we do.
Yeah, yeah, it's tournament season for real this time. It's not just MST Narco. I'm really excited. I can't wait to get back into casting once wild cards are over. I will be taking a slight hiatus next week.
Oh
Um,
no!
I know, Narco. I apologize.
Well,
Um,
I will carry on your torch, carry on your memory here. I will try to make as many bad puns as possible,
yes,
and I shall wait for your return.
yes. Yeah, I'll be back stronger than ever. Basically going into the hyperbolic pun chamber. So I'll get rested and ready to go. If we do have the chance to, obviously I want to shout out Narco. Great play-by-play commentator, carries me all the time. Another shout out to our production cat, Pop Tart, always does a great job. Um, carries the stream. And if they're still live, I'm not sure because I haven't been checking. We will probably flip it over to BOL 2 for a raid. So if you guys don't want to go anywhere and continue to watch Platinum League for BOL, like stay tuned and we'll get you cut over to it. Narco, final thoughts.
Final thoughts. I think that this is a really action-packed league, and even so deep on into this season, we're getting big shakeups in how we view how these teams play out. ISU Emerald, they were sitting at 2-4 before this one. We didn't really have a ton of high hopes. I thought Titan Gaming Obsidian was going to take this one home, but we saw myself getting proven otherwise. Another big story is obviously Blue Esports Fire really climbing up the ranks recently. There's just so much to watch out for, and there's a reason why you should stay tuned for us there.
Yeah, no, like we said, just stick around, guys. We appreciate you all showing your support and watching. Um, just once we go over to BOL2, kind of rate them, say that Narco and Feedonomics sent you, and just have a good time. Watch more fun league games. Raid. wins.